Hey kids, today we're going to try and find x given some information about the shape and the area of the shape. So this first example, the area of the square is 256 and I want to find x. So let's remember a few things. One, write down the area equation for a square. The area is 256 and that equals the side, which is 4x the quantity squared. Once I get this equation, now it's just solving out for x. So I get 256 equals 16x squared. Divide by 16, I get 16 is going to equal x squared. So I get plus or minus 4 is going to equal x. Now that's the algebra answer, but let's go back to the picture. I cannot plug a negative in here because I get a negative length for a side. So in this case, x is going to equal 4. So when we're going through, remember a few things. 1, I need the area equation. 2, I plug everything that I need in. And 3, solve for x. But just make sure that our answers make sense. So 4 steps to going through. Equation, plug in, solve, check your answers. In this example, we have a rectangle. The area equation for a rectangle is base times height. So base times height in this case is going to be an x plus 5 and then times an x, and that's going to equal the area of 66. So remember, go through and distribute this x in. I'm going to get this equation. 66 is going to equal x squared plus 5x. Now if I go back to my algebra days, I want to bring everything over. So I get 0 equals x squared plus 5x minus the 66. And now what I need to do is I need to factor this. Well, this factors into x and x. And now I need two numbers that multiply to 66, combine and give me 5. Those numbers are an 11 and a 6. This is positive, this is negative. So now when I'm solving it out, I said 0 equal to x minus 6. I said 0 equal to x plus 11. So now x is going to equal 6, or x is going to equal negative 11. Now when I check my answers, I know that this length cannot be a negative, so negative 11 doesn't work. So x equals 6 is going to be my final answer. And there you have it. There's our steps. Step 1, equation. Step 2, plug everything in. Step 3, solve for x. And step 4, check your answers. And that's all we're doing when we're trying these out. In this next example, we have the area of a right triangle is 3,456 and I want to find x. So remember, step 1, the equation is 1/2 base times height. Well, if I look at my picture, I see that I have the base is 16x, but I'm missing h. So right now we have a little bit of a pickle because we need to find h before I can go through and solve out and find x. So I need to remember that this is a right triangle. So a right triangle, I have Pythagorean theorem in which I can work out and find the missing side. So I get h squared plus 16x the quantity squared is going to equal 20x the quantity squared. Going through, this is going to work out and give me 256x squared plus 400x squared. If I subtract this over, I get h squared equals 144x squared. Now take the square root. That gives me h equals 12x. So now that helps me find the missing part of the equation so I can plug everything in. So let's start plugging things in. Area is 3, 4, 5, 6 equals 1/2. Base we said was 16x, and the height we found from the Pythagorean theorem is going to be 12x. When I multiply all of this out on the right-hand side, I will get 96x squared. Don't forget x squared. X times x is x squared. Now if I divide over by 96, that will give me 36 equals x squared. Take the square root. I get plus or minus 6 is going to equal x. So now remember to check your answers. If I plug a negative into the side length, it will give me a negative side length, so that's not going to work out. So x equals 6 is going to be the final answer. Again, going through all of the steps. 1, find the equation. 2, I got to plug everything in. The only thing different is I need to find h in order to plug in. 3, solve for x. And 4, check your answers.